Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
It's very good to see you all. Welcome to the Rourke Art Gallery Museum. My name is Jonathan Rudder. I'm the Executive Director and Curator here. Thank you for venturing forth on what was threatening to be a blizzard, but is not, as it turned out. So, still unpleasant out there, so thanks for making the trip. I think you'll agree with me, looking at the art around you, it was well worth it. I also want to thank the Minnesota State Arts Board, the FMRA Foundation, and the Arts Partnership for their support of our institution, making exhibitions and events like this possible. Also, and equally critically, I want to thank all of our members. Members have helped the Rourke through thick and thin, lo these 67 years, so thanks to our members. If you are not a member, don't feel ashamed. It's okay. We aren't born members of the Rourke. Happily, if you want to solve this problem, Katie will be behind our bar helping folks cure their lack of membership after Ben's talk. So you can talk to her then. As it happens, those who join the Rourke now through the end of this month will be graced with our 2025 gift art, a 5x7 silver gelatin print by Chris Mortensen of Concordia College. He's trying to look inconspicuous over there in the corner. So much for that. Okay, well, enough of my spiel. We're here for Ben. At this point, it's crazy. Ben has been a fixture in the Fargo-Moorhead art scene for effectively 25 years. And at that point, we'd be tempted to call someone established, but somehow the term establishment seems antithetical to both artist and his work. Ben, as you can see, is a truly accomplished painter who looks at his experiences and the world around him with unblinking gaze. So I'm eager to hear what it's all about. I bet you are all too, so will you join me in welcoming Ben Rheault back to the room?
Can you hear me? I'm not used to a microphone. This is bonkers. Thank you all for coming. This is more than I ever expected would fill a gallery full of my paintings. So I appreciate you all coming and making the trip through the snow. I want to thank John and the staff at the Rourke for doing such a wonderful job. Every time I come in here with work, it's always a surprise how they managed to piece it all together so that it kind of makes sense. My partner, Tess Varner, for always pushing me, even when I feel like I'm not doing anything worthwhile. So, and my parents for allowing me to grow up in a house that had a lot of books, and art books, specifically the Time Life series or something that you had of the great masters. You had my introduction to Goya and Bruegel that kind of taught me what art could be in terms of like social commentary at 13 years of age. So, yeah, I guess I really don't know what to say about a body of work that's been started since the last show, which was text-based paintings, black and white show, and I wanted to do something that really broke out of that kind of mundanity of lack of color and sort of show that I could do more than just abstract and strictly conceptual. The concept of this show came probably close to around the time I started thinking about actually having a show of it. So Jonathan helped me sort of piece together what that was, and the concept ended up being no concept. So I just sort of allowed myself to go full tilt on things that were interesting to me and utilize techniques that I've never used before, or relearn techniques that I haven't used since college. Like, I haven't painted figuratively really for 15 plus years since, college, really. So yeah, I'm very overwhelmed, so I don't even know what to start. I know that my talk was going to be a little bit rambly. I do everything off of the cuff, so. But yeah, I basically started with, an idea of memory, and I was using old photographs, but I wanted to blur the images because I didn't want my memory to infiltrate the memories of other people. Like, everybody has that weird memory of a time that they can't place. And then that evolved into what it became, which is more along the lines of like the breakdown of conversation, the breakdown of communication. And where we are now, it's a tough time to be living, and I just wanted to capture that. So this might be the close of my talk, and open it up to question and answer, because I'm much better at being asked pointed questions. But I would like to leave with one quote from David Lynch, who passed away this past year, who said, "I don't know why people expect art to make sense when they accept the fact that life doesn't make sense." So with that, I'd open it up to questions, and thank you again for coming. Yeah, Don.
I love to see the color because I have one of the other ones, right? Now we have color here. The series right behind you, I think it was called Making Connections, maybe?
Connected, yes.
And I'm curious particularly about that wonderful one right in the middle. That little child looks like amazed and surprised and joyful. And yet I'm also thinking about the whole AI and, not talking to people who are looking at that. So I just wanted to hear a little bit more about that contrast, right, between joy and, I'm just dealing with AI.
Well, it's funny because these images I utilized for a short time AI to generate source material as a kind of was going to be the main concept, and then I realized how wasteful AI is, so I tried to step back from it. But I picked through images that kind of had this dichotomy of reaction, like you have the two, like the reverent woman or the girl with the AI, and then the guy, just the little boy, really excited about something. And they're two different reactions, but who knows what they're looking at in their viewfinders. And I was able to edit out parts of it, because with AI, when it was so new, it was still bad. Like, I had to make up where the hands were, because it couldn't figure out what to do with hands. And I just liked the expression on the face, in contrast to the kind of terrified look of the other one. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm with Radio Free Fargo, and I'm thinking about music that I would listen to while, looking at your work. What music do you listen to when you were painting?
That's an awesome question. And part of the answer, like I did on my artist statement, it's all a list of all the music that I listen to a lot, and films and books that I've been reading, is because I feel like everybody is we're a mixture of all the art and culture that we take in, and so I'm just trying to regurgitate that in the way I know how. But to answer your question, probably right now the band that I listened to probably the most while I was working on this was Swans.
Yes, that's the latest album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's very dirgy and loud and abrasive and beautiful all at the same time. So, yeah.
Speaking of music and blurred faces, there's some resemblance to Pink Floyd The Wall movie. Is that intentional?
No, but I definitely seen the movie and the band, so there's a lot of things that people point out that I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Like somebody mentioned, what was that show on Apple? Severance. Severance. Like, have you seen Severance? Oh yeah, I've seen Severance. Is that intentional? No, but it just comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a bit of a conceptual question, and maybe this is trying to make sense of senselessness, as you just quoted David Lynch. But the title of the collection is Sympathetic Resonances. And I don't know, I don't want to speak for anyone, but when I'm going around and thinking about sympathy, that's not exactly what I'm feeling. In fact, I'm thinking of a break with anything sympathetic, a feeling together, a sympathy. And certainly resonances between individuals. A lot of your subjects are like multiple individuals, and there's not if there's any sort of resonance, it's like one figure kind of taking from another figure almost, especially in this dialogue piece right here. And so I'd be curious to know about what spurned the title of this collection and what you're thinking about as like sort of the regulative theme.
Yeah, so the title came when I was listening to a podcast on music, and it mentioned sympathetic resonances as the phenomenon of like stringed instruments, particularly when you strike a string, the strings nearest to it resonate, whether they've been hit or not, so there's a tone still underneath. And I kind of took it as a symbolic of how I work, like one painting triggers an idea of another, so it's just kind of a flow of everything. Even if it doesn't look the same, it's still kind of coming from the same place. There are elements of it throughout. So that's, I mean, what had nothing really to do with like the imagery or the concept as a whole, is just like my method of working, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wonder what defines you from your influences, because I'm saying from Francis Bacon, from Edward Hopper, especially the way you do fabric. But what do you think makes your work distinctly yours?
The way my own hand, I guess, like when I'm drawing and I'm not using imagery, I mean, if I'm not trying to like render something realistically, I guess my style would be a little bit hatchy. Like I want it to be messy and dirty, and I want you to see like that there is a process involved in the making of it, and the purpose of like all these static effects is just kind of like, it's my symbol of technology, I guess, and I guess that's right now it's sort of the trademark of the show, of the majority of the work. I don't know if that answers your question. I guess like they're all influences on me. I don't think I paint anything like Bacon, but he's definitely an influence. And Hopper, I actually don't really look at a whole lot, but I guess I can see some of that reference.
Well, most of that piece over there, but
Oh.
the two men.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
So
Izzy.
what was it like using color in the show, and how did you make the choices that you made, or what did you feel like? How do you choose color?
That's hard. I painted over a lot of them, like I'll try it, or a toy I bought was an iPad, so if I wanted to, I'm really frugal with my paints, so I don't like wasting paint. So if I wanted to try something, I would take a picture of painting in progress and paint it just to see what certain colors would look like, how to manipulate it, and I would choose colors kind of based on that. They're not symbolic of any like mood, I guess. I just picked them because I like them. Yeah.
I want to ask more about the aesthetic in these paintings. You say it kind of represents technology. When I look at it, I kind of associate it with something that's bad. You see, like it reminds me of almost like an airborne package if you get too close.
Well, and it's, you know, for this person here, it's like a speaking static, like it's just like noise. It doesn't matter. It's like the parents in the Peanuts show. It's just like, nobody knows what they're saying. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's supposed to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your technique for making your base sketch? Do you use a projector or do you use freehand?
Both, yeah, depending. Like if I'm enlarging a drawing, I'll use a projector. And if sometimes I'll just draw with a pencil to get the initial underline and then go over. Usually predominantly oil, but a lot of times I'll do an underpainting in acrylic just so it's dry, and then I can go at it with oil later. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really interesting hearing, because this almost seems like a reaction to technology. And yet at the same time talking about your uses of technology to help create this art. Can you talk more about that juxtaposition?
Yeah, I'm kind of a Luddite. Like, I don't like a whole lot of computer things, but I wanted to branch out a little bit from my typical style, I guess. So I bought an iPad after my last show, and I just started doing weird drawings with that and making little animated features and just trying to like not be such a Luddite, I guess, and try to incorporate it. I still prefer things to be made by a human hand, but I like utilizing it because I can use it as sort of as my source material now. I can use it as to make collages from photographs easily, to manipulate images and use that as my source material. So that's pretty much the extent of my use of technology. It's kind of like as my source material. And I can play it, it's easy to play around with, it's not a mess, I can take it anywhere. And yeah, that answers your question. Thanks. Yeah.
Where do you see your art going in the future? What would you like people to remember about you?
What was that last part?
What would you like to be remembered for art in, like, let's say, 30 years?
That I was original, I guess, that the work was something they hadn't seen before or much of before. I don't really think about like taking it anywhere really. Like I just, it's a compulsion at this point. Like I just make it, and I'm fortunate that places like the Rourke exist that let me sort of spill out my psychotherapy on everybody. Yeah.
I just found it interesting that you said those were supposed to pick two separate reactions, because I'm used to going to a black church and they pray like that. How do you accommodate for, different cultural perceptions of your pictures if you want to?
I guess I don't really think about it, I guess. I mean, I picked those images because they were interesting to me, and I liked that, what is that guy looking at? Is he looking at something, I don't know, somebody told me that maybe, is he watching pornography, or, and what's the girl watching? I just, different cultures affect me in just as like how I'm exposed to them, but it doesn't really come out in my work as a purposeful thing, I guess. So, yeah.
But is there one message you're wishing to convey, or you just want people to approach it as okay, how do you take it?
It's kind of however you take it. I mean, I think some of them are pretty clear, like the barbed wire conversation. I mean, it's, you can't, we're such a divided society right now. Everybody's just, throwing daggers at one another verbally and online and everything, so.
I just think that's funny. I thought he was writing on me.
Michelle?
You had mentioned before about you like things that are generally made by hand, and I've been having conversations with my son, who's an artist, about like how countercultural it is to actually be making art in the age of AI. And I'm curious, I don't really know how to formulate this question, but how would you describe what a human artist can do that a computer or an AI art can't? Like, what is it about the human creativity that AI cannot reproduce?
Emotion. I mean, as far as we know, you can't give an emotion to a robot. And, you'd probably have to program little discrepancies, but, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to have a tilt, or everybody's got an individual signature or fingerprint, so it's just, AI is a uniform program. So I just think that AI it's here, but I don't think that it's going to replace art. It could be a tool. Yeah.
So a follow-up question, is there something we can do to help create a world in which kids don't lose that ability?
away from screens for a while. Make them go outside and play.
Which is part of the critique here, so it's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had a childhood where my parents didn't know where I was in the summer during the days. Yeah.
I was wondering how you feel about the rise of the art statement, especially with conceptual art and the rise of AI. A lot of curators are wishing to see intention behind work. So I wonder if you have any statements that go along with these pieces and where they can be accessed.
No, I think artist statements kind of take away from the experience of enjoying the art for its own sake. Like, that's why my statement is just a list. It's like, if you want to know things that influenced me and why this work looks the way it is, check out some of these films, read a book, read this book, listen to this music. Yeah. Cameron?
So to kind of piggyback off of that, with the influence of music and movies and books, have you ever started painting and then read a book and looked at your painting going, oh crap, I gotta start over?
Never thought I'd start over, but it may have like triggered another idea to move on to a different painting. Yeah. Like, I have a book, in my sketchbook I have quotes that I write down from books all the time just so I can revisit them if I feel the need to. Yeah.
I'm curious about the repeating scenes of dialogue. Both the figures always, or at least as far as I saw, were always male and they were always you. Talk about that.
It was I mean, I'm a male, so I kind of am going from my own perspective. And I was working, you know, another reference to Bacon, I like to work from Muybridge photos, you know, because I don't have to hunt down somebody to sit for me or do whatever I want them to do. There's these photos that I can look at, and I was just intrigued by this dude sitting in a chair and about ready to get up with this interesting expression on his face. And so I copied it and pasted and flipped it around and thought of it, you know, and then it worked itself into a, well, it looks like they're talking to each other. And at one point I made these static bars going across, and I just, you know, and also in reference to him, just repetition, repeating it over and over again. And over time, certain things would evolve. Like, that's how I came to the barbed wire piece. Like, that was just a kind of a natural progression, it felt like. Yeah, Don.
This might be a silly question, Ben, but given what you just asked, it made me think of it. Because I can't help but be thinking politically when I'm looking at some of this stuff. And was there any influence of the emperor's new clothes, as in the naked influence?
I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but all the, you know, everything that's going on, it obviously affects us all, and it comes out in my work, but I'm not going to dignify that person by putting him in visual form. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, Gina.
Do you remember which one came first?
Yeah, it's that one right there in the corner. That was like my first attempt at trying to like get a static effect, and it's a really chunky painting because it's scraped and cut and. Yep. So that was the first one. Yeah.
What's your next series?
Oh, I don't know. I just got done cleaning the studio, so I'm gonna take a break for a while. But I think I want to keep going with this sort of kind of free association, see what happens. Read more books, listen to more movies, or watch more movies, listen to more music, get more input, so I can make another series. So. It's not on my map, I guess. Yeah. Okay. With that, I think thank you all again for coming. I really appreciate it.
We have more coffee, we might have more cookies. Please deplete them, or else the staff has to eat them, which is a trial. I also want to note, in addition to going and visiting Haiti, if you're interested in membership, I highly recommend venturing upstairs. We're into the last week of Kathy Fries's exhibit, which is on view in the Gustavian, Catherine Kilbourne Bergham galleries, and our reading room. So get up, stretch your legs. If you have any burning questions that you're embarrassed to ask Ben in front of an audience, I'm sure he'll talk to you off mic. So thanks, y'all.
That's